Okay, so we're recording. So welcome to another edition of Featured Business, brought to you by Visibility Impact. Myself, the host, James Moffat, our regular weekly singer, Emily, and our co-hosts and partners, Ernest, and our 60th guest. So quite a milestone. So we've been doing this for a bit over a year now to have 60 guests, although we missed a couple for holidays and things, but you are 𝗬𝗢𝗧𝗏, our 60th guest. So, and we have Pete that's just joined. So Pete's in the US as well. So Tim and Pete, you meet each other.
Good morning, Tim. Good afternoon, Tim.
And Tim, who's in, well, yeah, Pete, just introduce yourself. So Seattle and you're in Atlantis now.
I'm leaving tomorrow for Atlanta. I'm still in Florida.
Oh, still in Florida. Okay. Right.
Tomorrow is the big day.
The house is finished.
No, but hopefully in 2 weeks.
All right. Okay.
We have to move into a friend's house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
For a couple of days.
All
it's
right.
all right. It's getting there.
Okay. So
project.
All right. For Tim and 𝗬𝗢𝗧𝗏, since it's your first times on here, I'll just explain quickly how it works. It's basically an hour show. We can come on early. So the invite is actually to come on early so you can do some chit chat before we get started, so we don't waste any time once we get going with the guest. Typically, we kick off with a live song from Emily. But if she can't make it, we have a recorded one as well, which I was about to play, actually. I've just been listening to that. So, but since Emily's like, are you going to sing the same song? All right, okay. Right. So there's a whole load of songs that Emily should give us the link to your YouTube channel where we can see them, or wherever you put them, so we can see, because I've been going through them and looking at, if you were never to make it one time and you didn't give me one, then I would select one myself. Right. So don't ever worry that if we miss each other, then I'll just pick one. Okay, but since you're live, we kick it off with Emily, and then we'll go straight to our guest, 𝗬𝗢𝗧𝗏, and then the spotlight is on you. We keep it interactive. So the first part is pretty much I'm steering the conversation into your background, kind of your childhood and stuff about you, and then we pivot across into your business, what you're doing, and how we can help, any programs and things you've got that you want to share with us, which I know you have. So you're going to be sharing a lot with us. So let's get this going. So Emily, right, you're going to kick this off with a song. Is it on your own, or are you got someone playing the drums or something?
No, I'm on my own today.
Oh, on your own. No kids or anything?
Sorry? No kids?
No kids?
No.
Just Emily. Right. Okay, over to Emily.
Just Emily. My goodness.
So today, so normally I do cover songs for you guys, but today I'm going to play you a song that I wrote a couple of weeks ago. So I haven't played it live ever. So you guys are the guinea pigs in this situation.
All right. Love it.
Okay. How's that if I put the screen there? It's okay, right?
So far, yeah.
Okay.
Sound okay?
Very good.
Okay. I can't even remember the title I gave it. Anyway, I'll just sing it. All right. I used to think that I knew you better than anyone. I used to dream that I found the one. You might not have always done right by me, but I stayed each time because of your honesty. That's why it hurts to know you've been lying. All this time you've been sleeping with her. I feel such a fool. so cruel. I just don't understand how you could do this to someone you love. It's not like it's the first time. So the first two girls weren't enough. How many times do you expect me to forgive all the lies, the cheating, the games? Why did you do the things you did? That's why it hurts to know you've been lying. All this time you were sleeping with her. I feel such a fool. I never thought you'd leave me this broken. And if love's so innate, then why can it be so cruel? You say you'll never do this again, but I've heard these words before. You told me she was just a friend. I don't believe you anymore. Oh God, it hurts to know you've been lying. All this time you were sleeping with her. I feel such a fool. I never thought you'd leave me this broken. And if love's so innate, then why can it be so cruel? That's why it hurts to know you've been lying. All this time you were sleeping with her. I feel such a fool. I never thought you'd leave me this broken. And if love's so innate, then why can it be so cruel? And if love's so innate, then why can it be so cruel?
Nice.
Bravo. Very, very nice.
Yeah, very nice. Nice.
I don't know if it was just me, but I don't know if it was the sound on me, but it did go quiet a little bit and I had to turn my volume up. So was that, no, oh, just me then. But
That's fine for me.
beautiful.
Yeah.
No, now I'll go sit in the other room and cry a few minutes and come back. That was very moving, Emily. My goodness.
You have a talent.
Yeah.
So if we want to see more about, you have a channel or something that we can look and see more?
I have my YouTube channel and then I post a few songs on my Instagram.
Okay. Is it possible to share them in the chat so people can check you out afterwards? Okay. I could spend all day just watching the videos. They're excellent. So, and when you're going to start releasing some of these songs? Are you creating an album?
I have written so many songs and I've never shared any with anyone because I always felt like they're not good enough. But
No,
excellent.
I shared this one on, I think it was my Facebook, and I was really surprised by all the comments from people I don't really talk to or anything. So yeah, so maybe I will actually start sharing my stuff.
No, definitely. I mean, that's really beautiful.
Yeah, that was fabulous.
It was.
I'd buy it.
Yes, certainly.
Yeah.
Send her a check today.
Yeah. I'll help advertise you more, you see, and then if you share the links and then people can see. Okay. Anyway, you're going to hang around or drop off?
I will hang around, but I just turn off my video just so I don't disturb.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right then. So thanks, Emily. Right. And welcome, Paul.
Hello.
Right. So right over to Winifred before we're going to run out of time. We might have to go over a little bit today because people were late and we want to have enough time to hear what Winifred has to say and her story. So to kick this off, you just tell us where you're from and where you are now.
Okay, so I am from Nigeria. I was born in Nigeria and I am currently in the UK. So in Luton, UK, that's where I am at the moment.
And how long have you been in the UK?
I've been in the UK now for 8 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that was your first place you went to?
Yeah, so first place in the terms, in the sense of Luton, do you mean, or?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh no. So I've moved around quite a lot since I came to the UK. So when I came to the UK, I stayed in Birmingham for about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And then I moved over to London for about, I don't know, maybe 3 to 4 years thereabout, then before coming to Luton, where I am now. And I still think I would move again. So yeah.
Okay. So what was the reason for relocating to the UK?
So I had completed my undergraduate degree in economics back home in Nigeria, and I came out to the UK to do my accounting qualification. So I was moving disciplines from economics to accounting. And so I came here and that was what I did in Birmingham for 2.5 years to qualify as a professional accountant. With the ACCA, that's the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. And so when I did that, I then progressed on to do a master's degree in accounting and business finance.
Wow.
And then afterwards, I was fortunate to get a full bursary to do a PhD, which is what I'm currently doing now.
Right, excellent. So when you came over, did you have friends or family in the UK before you came here?
Yeah. So my aunt is here. My aunt, I've got cousins that were born here. So it was a bit easy to settle in because I had family already. And it's been a bit easy as well because I have family. So it does make a lot of difference.
Okay, but when you came on your own or?
Yeah, I came on my own. I came on my own to the UK on my own.
All right. So that's a big move.
Yeah, it was a big move. But the thing is, as a child, I used to come here for summer. So I was a bit familiar with how things work here already. So it wasn't like a huge, and the UK is a bit conservative. So it's not like, the US. So it's a bit conservative.
And you understood the language?
Yeah, I already understood the language. So because English is a language of instruction back in Nigeria, that's what we speak. That's the language you used to learn in schools and universities and even outside. So you'd have the Creole version of English anyway spoken, but officially it's English. So it wasn't really a difficult thing, settling into the UK.
Yeah, I was thinking more of dialect rather than language because when you went to Birmingham, I mean, you've got some really broad accents there, particularly Dudley.
Yeah, yes. But, by the time you spend some time with them, and the thing is, what I used to do then was when I'm on holidays, I used to come back to my aunt's in London. So it was a bit, I didn't really stay in Birmingham per se. I used to just go there for term time and come back.
Okay.
So it was still okay.
Yeah, I think if any accent, you've got more of the London accent.
Yeah. Spent more time there.
Because the Brummy, I wouldn't understand you. Right. Anyway, so you have siblings.
Yes.
So quite a few.
Yeah, quite a few of them, isn't it? Yeah, I've got 6 siblings. So I've got 3 from my dad's first marriage and 4 from his second marriage, which is where I am from. So 3 of them are based in the States, in Arizona, and 3 are based in Nigeria. So that's the split there.
Wow. So you've got plenty of places to go and stay.
Yeah, you can say that.
So where are you in between? I mean, for age-wise, are you in the middle, youngest, oldest?
Okay, so I am technically number 5. So I've got 4 before me and 3 and 2 behind me. Yeah.
And all right, okay. So a good combination.
Yeah.
So growing up as we just want to find out a little bit more about you. So growing up as a kid and living in Nigeria. Okay. you were born in Nigeria and you lived in Nigeria, so that's kind of the first place. I mean, from moving, that's where you were.
Yeah, yeah.
You hadn't lived anywhere else.
No, it had been Nigeria all my life.
But you've been to the US on holidays, I think.
No, not necessarily. No, most times my siblings will come over. So I've been to the UK, not the US.
Okay.
No, not just yet.
So how do you know Tim then?
Okay, Tim was really a virtual connection that I met over LinkedIn.
Okay.
And we attended this event together, Founders and Mentors event together. And I reached out to him to say, oh, we went to this event together. It'll be great to connect. And so that is how we connected, and we've been in touch, and we have done a lot of work together so far. I even have a work I'm doing for him that's due today as well. So Tim has been a great connection. He has been very helpful, and he is really keen on entrepreneurship and how to make it more accessible to people. So yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
So, and you're all in this. So I was rude, actually. I didn't actually pronounce your full name, so maybe you can do that, because I was just saying Winifred, and you've actually got two more parts to that, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce because I'm terrible. So
okay.
if you can say your full name. Okay.
Yeah. So my full name is Winifred. That's my first name technically. Then I have Amarachi. That's a tribal name of one of the languages back in Nigeria. Then I have Suribe, which is my surname. Then again, it's a tribal language. So if you're not able to pronounce it, that's fine.
But you also have here Consul. What? Ah, no, that's the business name.
Yeah, that's the business name.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, we'll come on to that later. So in Nigeria, the language is Nigerian, or?
No, in Nigeria, so you have three broad languages. Three broad languages, so three main languages, but then you have so many, almost 100 different languages as well. But the three main ones would be Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa, for those that might be familiar with that country. And so I'm from the Igbo side of things, so that's the eastern part of Nigeria. And so we are make up about 5 to 6 or 5 or 7 states in the eastern region.
Right. But you understand the other languages as well?
To an extent.
Are they very different? Or?
Very extremely different. It's like, I don't know. I think, maybe French and Italian are a bit more similar than maybe 2 of those languages. So very different languages.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as a second language at school, you would then learn one of these local ones?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to learn one of them. And, you mostly go for the one, especially if you're from one of the dominant tribes, you go for that one. And so for me, my dominant one would be Igbo, because that's what we speak from the eastern part of Nigeria. And so that's what Amarachi, that's the language that comes from.
Okay. And then you'd learn English as well at school?
Yeah, you learn English at school, but you'd also just learn English in your just daily life activities, because that's what we speak as well. English is very much ingrained, so in the society there. Okay.
Right. Okay, we're learning. It's getting some education here, you see.
Okay.
Right. So now that you're let's just look at some of the interests that you've had. So growing up as a kid, what interest did you have?
So growing up as a kid, I was very creative. And one of the things I did was I started my first business at the age of 9. And what I used to do then was there were 3 of us. So me and 3 of my friends. What we did was in our final year in elementary school, so primary school, as you call that back in Nigeria and in the UK as well, we started this business where we used to sell storybooks. So we would make, handwritten storybooks and put candy on the cover and then sell it to our schoolmates.
Wow.
And so, I was the president. Funny enough, we had positions. I was the president, and then we had the vice president, we had the other person. And at the end of the month, we'd split the money amongst ourselves. And that would be like, pocket money, not to really do anything, but just to spend it again. But my dad really encouraged me on that. He would really stuff me with all the A4 plain sheets I needed, the stationaries and things like that. And all we had to buy was the candies. But it really, it was just something interesting. I can really remember some of the experiences, and, I would get the candies and I would use that to judge the prices. So the bigger the candy, the more expensive the book would be. And it worked, because that was a way of I had schoolmates that were actually buying it. And so when I went on to high school, I then picked it up again when I was now in 10th grade. And I went to a boarding school, an all-girls boarding school. So, and it was a private boarding school. So you had people that came from wealthy families and had very strict parents, and parents that did not allow them go out, except maybe they were going out with someone, maybe an aunt or uncle. So what I used to do, I fortunately had a very, cool dad that used to allow me go out. So I used to go to the local market, I'll buy jewelries and then take that to school and sell it on. So back in high school, I used to have a lot of money because it was easy to sell stuff to them at a really high price, because, they were okay to buy it. So I did that and, carried it on. When I went into university where I studied economics, I did the same thing. So by then I was really good at that already. So a lot of people that might have stuff might come to me and say, okay, can you sell it for me or something like that? Okay. So I really understood how business worked in terms of trade. And when I finished university, I tried to start a business. So I had this event planning idea. I wanted to kick off 4 kids' parties. And so I applied for several competitions to get some funding and kick it off. But it didn't really work. And then after that, I now sort of left Nigeria to come to the UK. And since then, I've spent more time in academia than in actual business.
Okay, so that's excellent. So you were an early entrepreneur then, so starting at 9.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit more about these books, because I'm interested now, because I do storybooks as well for my kids.
Okay.
Right. So, but you said you handwrite them. So I mean, your father got kind of the stationery and everything, and then so how many books would you have to then write, and how big were they? I mean, as in pages.
In terms of pages, maybe if you take an A4 plain sheet and you squeeze it together, maybe you would have maybe 4 A4 sheets. That'll be about 8 pages, or maybe 5 of them. But the thing is, I used to read a lot of 𝗪𝗡𝗏 books. So that used to give me inspiration of what to write in my own books that I was writing.
The famous 5.
Pardon?
Was it the famous 5?
The famous 5, that's one of them. But a lot of the ones about elves and, their forest houses and things like that. So that's where I used to get a lot of the inspiration for the books from. But it wasn't just me writing it. It was also my other friends that were in this company with me. So if all of us were about to do about maybe, 3-5 each, were able to make about 20 to sell to people. So yes, that's how we used.
Do you still have a copy?
No, I don't think so. Even if I had, I think it'll be back home in Nigeria. But
that would be great memorabilia then.
Yeah, that's what I said.
But you can remember the stories?
Yeah. Not in detail, but I know a lot of them used to be about fairies and dwarfs and things like that, because those were the kinds of books I used to read then. Okay.
So, and you were, we could talk all day about this, because it's a kind of a passion of mine as well, storytelling and storybooks, particularly with kids. But you also into Barbies?
Yes. I was very much into Barbies, but I think at some point
You're not the first guest to be into Barbies either.
No, I was.
Pete was the other one.
Okay. But
maybe
I
G.I.
was.
Joe, but not Barbie, for goodness sake.
Well, don't you have to get them together?
Exactly.
Okay. Oh, that was just me with my sister's Barbies.
James his mind is diluted. So keep going, Winifred.
What do you mean?
Okay.
We had the Action Man, like Eagle Eye Action Man, and they had the Barbies, and they had to meet at some point. I mean, go dancing.
Not when you're 6. They don't meet.
Exactly.
I didn't say I was 6. I was 16. No.
Oh, jeez.
We digress. No.
Somebody digresses for sure.
Okay, so Barbie dolls and stuff. But you're also a dancer.
Dancer? No, I'm not a dancer.
Well, that's what it says here. It says Barbies, dancing, and baking.
She can do a lot of things, but please.
No, not you, Pete. I'm not saying you're a dancer.
No, the things I enjoy doing would be more of bead making. So I'm more of a creative person. I like not drawing people, but designing stuff, making jewelries, anything that has to do with design, really. Maybe editing a website, making beads, all those kind of things. They get me excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
And baking.
Yeah, and baking. That's just because I get to ice the cake and decorate it. That's the part I like. Yeah.
Icing the cake. I didn't like the cakes. I liked the mixture. So I was always asking my mum, like, don't throw the bowl away. Right? Give me the bowl because I lick the bowl.
Okay.
Because I like the mixture before it was baked.
Okay.
But that's normal, isn't it? My kids do the same.
No, I don't think it's normal.
No?
I don't know, to me though. I don't know if there are any other people.
Emily must. Did you lick the bowl, Emily?
No, because it had raw egg in it, and I was a bit funny about,
Okay.
Yeah.
But I do like cupcake decorating as well, only for the decorating.
Yeah.
But I know how to do
Yeah.
But anyway, so you're not opening up a bakery shop or anything?
So the thing is, back in Nigeria, I remember registering a business name that was called Cupcake Central. Yes, I was actually taking that seriously. But over time, these days I don't eat as much cake, and I never was a cake eater. I just like the process of making it. So I'd make it, but I don't eat it. So yeah.
Right. So you also like philosophy?
Yeah, I do like philosophy. I like from a young age, and that was like I still have that. So when I was 13, 14, that was then but what we'll call it then would be, I think that was maybe ninth grade. And what it was, I used to do a lot of, I used to get the stickers that had, wise sayings and things like that, and I'll keep them up. And back then I started studying on Stoicism. So Stoicism, I hope I got that one right. And one of the things that I learned early on was that, you have to be determined, you have to persevere. So all these write-up, I still have them, things that I wrote at the age of 13. So it's always been very interesting to me. And then over time, I have gone into, deep, not very deep philosophy, like people that go and study Socrates and stuff like that. I know what they say, I just look at it from a more general sense, not like, very in-depth philosophy.
Yeah. I used to philosophize a lot. I mean, typically when you're at parties and you've had too much to drink, and then you philosophize even more. Mm-hmm. But what we think probably back then was rubbish is actually more apparent now, and kind of go deeper. But yeah, so do you play any instruments or anything? Do you sing?
I sing, but not as good as Emily, but I just do it on my own. And so back when I was younger, I was in the choir. But you know, sometimes because I went to a boarding school and I went to a Catholic boarding school, so there are a lot of things you had to show up for. You had to show up for mass every morning. You had to show up for the rosary every evening, and sometimes you join these activities so that you don't have to go to them. Sometimes I know it sounds ridiculous now, but you know, that's one of the things we used to do then. And so I was in the choir in high school, but you know, my voice is okay. I don't consider it like great. It's just one of the, everyone sings. So yeah, I think that's just how it is for me.
Everyone sings. Right?
Yeah.
Pete, you sing?
I've sung in choirs too. I'm kind of like Winifred. I wouldn't want to do anything solo. That would probably offend people, but you know, in the choir, I can kind of hide.
Yeah.
Maybe you two can sing. Right?
If Emily leads, we'll sing. You know, we'll be backup vocals for her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that. Yes.
But so, okay. So, what sort of choir songs did you sing, Winifred?
Most of them would have been things like, I don't know, maybe Christmas carols or maybe local tribal songs that they teach us in the local languages. Yeah, in the local languages.
You don't want to give us a taste?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Maybe we'll persuade you that with Pete and Emily then to do a special.
Probably.
Right. Okay.
James has a way of persuading people to do things.
Yeah, we could do a special, like a sing-along or something, a sing-a-thon or whatever you call them. But anyway. Okay, so let's move forward a bit to kind of where you are now. Unless you've got anything, I didn't talk about kind of sports and things. Are you a sporty person?
I try to, well, other than for my personal self, you know, I try to keep fit. I try to do 10,000 steps a day. I try to do some exercise, maybe 10 minutes some days when I have the time to. But other than that, I don't really consider myself a sporty person. Okay. No.
So let's skip forward now to kind of where you are now and also what you're doing, because you're doing something, a big event coming up as well, which we want to learn about. So people that aren't already registered could register. Mm-hmm. So tell us, so you mentioned about, I mean, being an economist and stuff. You did have some experience of when you came to the UK also to work for companies. So yes. Maybe give us a little bit of a background and then move into where you are now.
Okay, so when I finished my undergrad, that was in 2012. I started working as a business development manager for a local security company. And that was really just close to where I lived. And so within that, what I was really doing was to sort of develop strategies to grow, you know, the client base and just formalize the business operations. So that's what I really did. And then what we also have back in Nigeria, it's called the National Youth Service, where everyone that graduates university has to spend 1 year in service to the country. And then they send you to some part of the country to spend a year there. So for me, they sent me to the Western region, but I didn't stay. I came back, you know, after you have to. So the way it works is they send you to this place and then you have to stay in a camp for about 3 weeks, know about the local area, and then you go into the state and then you spend a year living there. But so when they sent me to this place and I just spent 3 weeks there and I came back home to where I knew. And so during that period of time, I worked in a government organization that was the National Population Commission. And what they were really focused on were things relating to census and just making sure the right numbers of people in the country was correct and things like that. So I did that as well before coming out of the UK.
Right. And in the UK, you then went to work for a number of companies.
Yeah, so I've worked for SPE. So I worked for SPE for about a year to and 1 year or a year and a half.
So
And
the company, sorry, the company's called SPE.
Yes, SPE Limited.
All right. Now, we'll just park you there a little bit because I know SPE because I don't know, Pete probably knows as well, a guy called 𝗪𝗢𝗧𝗥, who's on one of the training programs. He works for SPE. And yeah, we were just talking earlier about SPE. SPE's a French company, but they have subsidiaries in Switzerland and the UK.
Yeah.
So what did you do there?
What I did there, I was part of their accounts assistant. So I was in the accounts department. And what I used to do was just to make sure their receivables were coming in, their payables were also being paid and things like that, and managing the invoicing. So I was really at the junior stage then. That was still when I was training for my accountancy qualification. So I used to use that as the practical element of the qualification. So over time, I left SPE and then I focused on my studies for a while. While I focused on my studies, I worked in McDonald's as always. And I really enjoyed my time back in McDonald's. And then when I went on to do my PhD, I started doing some lecturing, which is what I do off and on now.
Okay. So you've had experience in the real world, like working for a real company. You've got a very academical background, and now you're currently still studying.
Yes. I'm finishing my PhD now, trying to round it off.
And that's in which university?
University of Bedfordshire in Luton.
Oh, it's in Luton. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
It's in Luton. Yeah.
All right. Near the airport.
Yeah, near the airport. Yes.
I just, it reminds me as a kid, there was always a song called Luton Airport.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And you'd only know Luton because of the song. I think Luton Airport, where's that? And I had to look it up. But anyway, so.
I digress.
Sorry?
I said, I digress.
Yes. So now, so you still, when do you finish? When do you finish all your study? Or when you finish your study, you want to do more?
Yeah, no, not for now, not for now. Once I finish my studies, I hope to finish it up, sometime next year, summer, because I am rounding up my data collection. And once that is done, I write up the thesis. Okay. And it's for PhD is a whole different thing, because once you write up the thesis and everything is good with the supervisors, you submit it. And once you now submit it, it has to go through a series of process where it gets sent to the examiners and they give you a date for an exam to come and defend what you've written. So that does take time, about 3 months to get that. And
then you have to defend it, don't you? You have to
Yes,
go and present.
You
can use your storytelling skills, and you could sing it, couldn't you?
No, you couldn't sing it, James.
You can't sing your thesis? No, but that would be different, wouldn't it?
It will be different.
Yeah,
but
Pete to join in the background. Right? I mean, that would be memorable, though.
You have to know about her subject of expertise.
Exactly.
Yeah, but exactly. I saw my wife defending hers, and most of them have got zero presentational skills, and they might have the best documentation and everything, but they just don't know how to present it. So yeah, if you did something different, I always said, like, you're on the stage now, do something different. So you can actually teach university students how to pitch themselves when it comes to the thesis, their defense.
Yeah, I think you can, but it's just that, with things like this, there are conventions and ways you do them. So, and singing is not one of them. But
anyway, you have a nice microphone there, right? So so you do kind of events. I mean, it's not your first event that's coming up, is it?
This is my first event that I've organized myself. Yes, it is.
So why the microphone?
The microphone, because I do teach, I do lecture. Lecture, yeah, and I don't like wearing headphones, so I prefer the microphone.
I kind of do both because I like to hear you directly in my ears, without the noise, but the microphone is sensitive. But anyway, so you have an event coming up. So let's tell us about that, so we can plug your event and what is it? Who you're doing it with, and what's the connection with 𝗬𝗧𝗏?
Okay, so the event is going to be on the 9th of September, and that's going to be 17 o'clock British time. What we're going to be doing there, it's a roundtable discussion where we will be looking at several different topics, and we'll be looking at those topics across 4 different countries. The countries would be the US, it will be the UK, it will be Spain, and it will be Sweden. And what we aim to do there is to just look at some things, like some of the topics would be entrepreneurship education, access to finance, how going global, expanding into other countries, gender and its implication for raising finance. And so those things we're trying to, because it's more of an entrepreneurship roundtable. Most of the panelists, or all the panelists, are related to entrepreneurship in one way. And what we're trying to get from them is sort of a system of best practice in these areas. So in terms of access to finance, how can we make it easy for entrepreneurs to access finance? In terms of gender and how that affects financing, what can we do about that? What are their own opinions, or what do they have to say on these topics? And most of them are leaders of their own organizations. And what we're also trying to say is, what are their organizations doing for entrepreneurship? So the US panelist is Dr. 𝗘𝗔𝗖𝗛, and she's the president and CEO of 𝗦𝗧𝗢𝗏. And 𝗦𝗧𝗢𝗏 is in charge of community colleges entrepreneurship in the US. And so she's coming there to tell us, what is 𝗦𝗧𝗢𝗏 doing about all these different topics, and how is the US, doing on all these topics. And what we've been able to do is draw on certain data, especially the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor data, that tells us, how certain countries are doing in these different areas. So currently, in terms of access to finance, the UK is really doing well. And then followed by other European countries. But in terms of the access to finance, what we're trying to really see is a comparison between the US and Europe, because we know that in the US, it's very, the financiers can be very optimistic there. So they usually you can easily get them on board. And then when it's time to sign off the contract or release the money, they might just, drop out. But, for European, especially UK investors, they're a bit pessimistic. So they can tell you very early on, no, we're not going to give you the money. So they don't put you through that emotional journey. And we're going to have this discussion and see how that, affects the raising of finance process. So yes, it will be an interesting one. And so how that relates to 𝗬𝗧𝗏 is Johan, who is the CEO and founder of 𝗬𝗧𝗏, is going to be on our panel as well. And he's going to be representing the interest of Sweden and telling us how 𝗬𝗬𝗏 is, contributing to the entrepreneurship world as well.
Wow. So who kind of idea was this?
This was my idea. It was my idea. It was really because of I'm collecting data on my PhD. And so collecting data was a bit slow for me. And so this was an idea to sort of get people, have these discussions, and, hopefully get some people to fill out my survey. So it was really entirely mine. And I reached out to Dr. 𝗘𝗔𝗖𝗛 on LinkedIn. And as I reached out to her, she was quite keen, and that's how we expanded to other people.
Well, congratulations
thank you
for the panel. So
thank you.
So I mean, I've registered for it as well. So you've advertised it on 𝗬𝗏𝗏 and LinkedIn.
Yes.
Right.
And
you have a number of people already registered?
Yes, we have a number. We have about 80 people now registered from 10 different countries. And that is excluding the people that have shown interest on LinkedIn. So we have an event page on LinkedIn, and we have 66 people currently that have indicated, yes, accepted the invite to attend the event. So yes, hopefully we're hoping to have a good turnout.
And you're the main host and facilitator?
Yes, I am the main host. So I am my PhD supervisor are the main host. 𝗬𝗢𝗪𝗧 is also a partner, and NACO and ENTNES and all these other organizations are also partners of this.
So it sounds great. I mean, I am looking forward to that as well.
Oh, great.
So you can also share, I mean, if people don't know it, we can
Okay.
share the links. Others could come and join if they wish.
Okay. I think Johan has put in the link there, the ENTNES link.
All right.
For people. Yeah.
So besides that, I mean, to pursue any other activity. So once you finish this, I mean, where do your aspirations or desires and passions lead you in a direction after you finish kind of all your schooling? Which way do you want to go? Because I believe, I mean, it's more entrepreneurial. I mean, in your title, it says entrepreneurial, I mean, finance. So where is it that you would like to focus?
What I'd like to do, I'd like to spend some time in academia and maybe do some postdoc and see where that goes with, with it. But ultimately, I would like to, move out of academia at some point and go more into practice, related stuff, things like providing more support consultancy, that kind of thing at some point. That's the plan. But for now, it'll be to do more research within that field.
Okay, but into a specific sector or area of, I mean, entrepreneurs normally typically startups or solopreneur type people. So would it be to work with them or into a different area? And if it was those, would it be a particular kind of group, like people that focus on a certain area like sustainability or something, or is it pretty much open?
So it will be focused mostly on startups and those trying to scale up. And it'll be open to, well, not really into, I wouldn't focus too much on people like in life sciences and pharmaceuticals, because I don't really know too much about those industries. But things like general technology, hospitality, food, care, all those kinds of things, I think I'm a bit conversant with those kinds of industries. So those are the ones that I would focus on. Okay.
And in a particular country?
No, so far I am a mentor on NASDAQ Mentor Makers. So I don't know if you know about that, but NASDAQ has this Mentor Makers group where people can come in, where entrepreneurs can sign up and reach out to mentors. So I mentor on that one as well. So, and
that's in the UK, is it?
It's in the US, but it's online, so you can just sign up online, and most of the meetings are virtual anyways. So I've met entrepreneurs in the US, so I'm not really limited to just the UK. I'm very much open to entrepreneurs anywhere.
Okay, so you would be offering more financial kind of support.
Advice, yes, yeah. More financial advice, more support in terms of the finance, because that's my area of expertise. Just not just the finance, but the operations as well. How do you design your processes so that they're more efficient? What functions are better suited for your business?
Would these be pretty much pre-seeded kind of startups?
Yes. Mostly pre-seed and seed. That would be the stages that I would focus on.
All right, excellent.
Yeah.
So how do you typically you're doing that at the moment, I mean, through kind of this platform in the US as an advisor. So within ENTNES, would you be advertising these kind of skills as well to do something for the entrepreneurs there?
Yes. I hope to spend some time growing my ENTNES network as well. ENTNES in a lot of people. I've put that on my post to say this is what I'm able to offer and this is what I'm looking for. But I'll spend more time trying to draw some attention to it.
Yes. And typically, I mean, people always like kind of a taster of what people have to offer.
Yeah.
So a taster is in like jump on a webinar. I mean, I know you're doing this event, but that is kind of kind of big event, I mean, just to know more about you and your services, would it be something that you would promote in a type of webinar people can join?
Yeah.
And you'll explain maybe some tips and tricks as well, but typically what to look for when you're starting a business, and the finances and things to consider that most people overlook.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be looking at things like, I hope to do a webinar. So there's something I'm trying to put together with some other people within my network. It's just going a bit slow at the moment, but that's fine. I think it's holiday season, that's why as well. But it's going to be a short webinar on, telling your business story, how to get your operations together and things like that. So that hopefully, just a free small workshop for people to jump on.
All right, so I've been a bit rude because I normally introduce the audience to ask you questions, and I've left it a bit late. But I mean, have you got any questions to the audience?
Not at the moment, unless anyone has any questions for me. No.
Yeah, Johan.
Let's see if my microphone in the laptop works. Do you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, excellent. Well, this has been excellent, Winifred, and we connected so nicely and easily, I think, already. So thank you for this update and following the journey with James here this hour, right?
Yeah.
And I'm very much looking forward to the coming event, of course. And I just want to say that you're quite an intriguing person, of course, and I'm sure that there will be a lot of opportunities for going forward together. Yeah. Hey, Boyan. Yeah.
I'm really sorry. Can you please repeat the last 1 hour again for me?
Yeah, we'll just do a quick recap.
Well, maybe
I have to leave, but this was really, really excellent. And Winifred will stay connected separately. And Tim, we haven't met either, but I very much look forward to connecting with you also. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey, Johan. Good weekend.
Family as well.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Right, so Boyan is normally early, and you're actually very late. All right.
I jumped into short 15-minute virtual meeting with a client, which continued more than 1 hour. So
okay. So this is recorded anyway, so I'll give you a copy of the recording so you can catch up. So actually, Winifred, is this what people call you? Because I know there is a shorter version. What do you typically get called?
Winifred, though. People call me Winnie, but some people, I think most of the times Winifred is what they say. Well, Winnie is still fine. I think that's more of a popular one, Winnie.
Yeah, I was tempted to say Winnie.
Yeah.
And I will tell you a secret, which even James, that they call me Bobby.
Oh.
Bobby?
Yes, this is...
Bobby.
I have also other nicknames, but
Bobby Charlton.
Normally they call me Bobby.
Why?
Because I'm Bobby from such a kid.
Okay. Pete, what's your nickname?
My nickname, I have two. Or you asked for Winnie? You asked me or you asked Winnie?
Sorry?
Who do you asking me? Me about
my nickname? Pete. Pete, what's Pete's nickname?
That is my nickname, Pete. My full name is Peter John.
No, because Pete is an aviation pilot, a marine pilot. I was getting Navy pilot. Well, Marine, Navy is the same, isn't it?
Hardly.
But one is up, the other is under.
They didn't call you like Gooseman or like Top Gun or something? Or...
Oh, you mean like a call sign?
Yeah, you didn't? They did, I remember, but I've forgotten what it was. Anyway.
Skippy.
Skippy, that was it. Skippy. Anyway, so yeah, just as we're kind of running out of time, so Winifred, so we've got the link now. Johan shared the link. And we're looking forward to your event. So if you're not already on it, people can come and join. And if people want to reach out to you in general to learn more about what you're doing, How can we do that?
I can quickly put my LinkedIn post here and my email. Just bear with me 1 second. I'll just get the LinkedIn up.
And we will see more about you as well. I mean, if you wanted to, bless you, Pete, if you wanted to do something to give people an insight into finances and stuff in business.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Because I think lots of people would benefit from that.
Okay, great. Because what I've done as well is I've set up my own website and I've called it 𝗦𝗧𝗢𝗥 Consult. So it's not necessarily a consultancy business. It's really just there for me and some colleagues of mine to provide free support to entrepreneurs in the areas of financing, operations, accounting, and things like that, and just your branding. So if you know anyone that might be interested in sort of getting some
very few entrepreneurs really need accounting or operations.
I think, once you start connecting with people, within 𝗦𝗘𝗔𝗥, you'll find there's a lot of expertise in different areas that will be very complementary to each other. I mean, when you talk about branding, then Pete is the branding guy. And if you talk about kind of technology and automation and CRMs and whatever, then Boyan's your guy. And I mean, so if you need a singer to introduce everything, then Emily,
yeah.
And if you've got lots of kids that want to go on camps and stuff, then she's the person for that. So actually, I don't really know what Otto does. And Paul still, sorry?
It's a mystery, ain't it?
It's a mystery. We'll have to have you as a guest so we can learn more about you. Likewise with Paul and Tim, of course. I mean, to have Tim as a guest. Anyway, we've kind of on time now, so we're just wrapping things up. So I'll send you a copy of this recording so you can share it as well and do what you wish with it. And have you got anything closing that you want to leave us with as a message?
What I would say is, in terms of just general entrepreneurial businesses, one of the key things there is a lot of perseverance. I think one of the, because, you know, I'm doing a course now on just general business operations and finance as well. And in the data I've been looking at, I've been using companies' house data, that is, you know, for registered companies in the UK. And what you tend to see is in 2020, 2021, we had 93 businesses registered per hour in the UK, which is a lot. So one of the things there is entrepreneurship is really, you know, taking center stage. A lot of people are getting into it. But I think as well as a lot of people getting into it, which is good, people also have a preconceived notion about it, that it's like the fastest way to make money. It happens overnight. And I think one of the key things there is just for people to understand that it doesn't. Things take time. And sometimes I tell my students, when you look at people like Bezos, which are some of the, you know, rock star entrepreneurs that you see these days, it took him almost 25 years to get Amazon to where it is. It didn't happen overnight. So I think we have to start making people understand that it takes time. That way we're able to reduce the failure rates within entrepreneurship. So I think it's perseverance, really.
Yeah, which is very true. People think that just because you have now become an entrepreneur that you're going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it is a lot of hard work and dedication, a lot of learning. I wouldn't say failing, because you're learning by mistakes that can be made. Yeah. And it is good to have some guidance from people that have been there and done it and learned the hard way, so you can learn. So anyway, on that note, did you see some of the comment there?
Oh yes, lots of
struggles. Yes, Paul. Yeah.
You repeat mistakes so many times until you learn to avoid them.
You can either do kind of the hard way, keep making your own mistakes, and then trying to figure out a way around it, or you can seek advice and maybe shortcut some of the struggles and hurdles that maybe you'd face if you hadn't got advice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think collectively we could all help one another. So we could all give advice, and it always helps with bringing, kind of showing some value. And then when people see the value, then they engage with you. Okay, so Winifred, it's been an honor having you as my 60th guest.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, great success for the forthcoming event.
Thank you.
And yeah, I hope to be on that as well.
Okay.
And what I'll do is I'll share the comments as well. If you haven't had a chance to see them, I share them under the notes within the event on 𝗏𝗏𝗏. So I'll pop them in there, and I'll send you. I put this through my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And then I'll send you the link once I've done that.
Okay, great, fantastic.
Okay, so thank you once again, and thank you for my audience that are loyal, and for those that are new, do come along. It's every Friday. Okay. And if you haven't been a guest and would like to be a guest, then just let me know, and then we'll schedule in one of the Fridays. We have many different diverse guests. You don't have to have a specific area of expertise. You just have to come along and talk. Yeah. Easy. It wasn't too difficult, was it?
No, it was totally relaxed. I enjoyed it.
Excellent. Okay, well, that's the way it should be. And it's just kind of like, I mean, you hear the expression like the fireside chat. So we're just having a chat with an audience that want to join in the chat. So it's easy as that. Okay, so on that note, I wish you all a wonderful weekend.
Yeah.
There may not be one next Friday, because I'm doing an event all week and I'm not back until sometime Friday late. So next Friday will be skipped, but then we'll reconvene after that, the following Friday.
Okay, great.
Okay, so have a great weekend.
Right,
great seeing everyone.
Nice
job, Winifred.
So,
all right.
Nice
happy to join the last minute, but it was good.
Thank you. All right then.
Bye. Have a nice weekend, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.